Y'all know what's going on. It's time for another episode of Doing Time with Joe. I'm your host, Joe Baker, and welcome to the show, y'all. Look at y'all, the trials and tribulations that a person is going to go through when they come to prison, man, and while they're in prison, it's going to affect them when they get out. There's no ifs, and but about it. It's just what it is. It's going to affect them, right? And this story is about Dean. Dean is a three-time loser, as they call it. You know what I'm saying? Meaning somebody that's been in the penitentiary 3 times, right? Now, this last go round, Dean did about 15 in the penitentiary before he was able to get out. They let him out. He had like a year left to flatten. So they let him out before he flattened so they could have some time to supervise him, right? But when he made parole, because it took so long to get processed out, by the time he got out of the penitentiary, he didn't have but a few months of supervision left, right? So the state really had no control over the situation with him to try to help him transition back into society in a helpful and meaningful way, right? So when he got out, he still went to the halfway house that he had signed up for, right? But when he got to the halfway house, they really had no leverage over him because he only had a few months left on his sentence, period, point blank. So the threat of them saying, we're going to send you back to prison if you don't comply and take these classes and go to work and do these types of things that are going to help you in the long run, because a lot of people, when they get out, don't see some of the stuff that they do is going to help them in the long run. But the institution, you mean in the halfway houses, they'll use that as leverage against you to try to force you into these things because it's going to help you. It's like manipulation for the greater good. You know what I'm saying? In the long run, it's going to help you, right? So a lot of people don't see that, but they didn't have that leverage. So when he got out, he went to the halfway house. He stayed there. You know what I'm saying? He would come and go as he pleased. He really wasn't taking the classes that he needed to be taking. And he really didn't even take the job that they had for him. He went and found a job somewhere himself, working 2 days a week. And this was only on the weekends. He figured if he could get a job where he could work 12, 16 hours a day, you know what I'm saying, just 2 days a week on the weekend, he would have the rest of the week to do the things that he wanted to do. That ain't going to work. That ain't going to work. Even though he did find a place that would hire him to work like that. It was a part-time gig. He found that. It was just too much free time for somebody that had gone through what he went through in prison. Now, let me tell you some of the things that he went through. While he was in prison, he lost his dad, right? His dad was locked up with him, you know what I'm saying? And his dad died in the penitentiary. He died from an overdose, and his dad died in here, and it crushed him. You know what I'm saying? His dad had been in and out of prison as well. And they had the relationship that you can have, the best relationship that you can have under those circumstances. You know what I'm saying? And they were even sellers when his dad died. So he was in the room the night that his dad died, sleep. When he woke up the next morning, his dad didn't get up. So that's one thing that traumatized him, right? And then maybe 2 or 3 years after that, it might have been a little longer than that, his mom dies. His mom dies. Now, he has this amazing relationship with his mom, right? Or had this amazing relationship with his mom. And now the one person that he knew he could rely on when he got out was gone. He has an extended family, of course, you know what I'm saying? Aunties and uncles and cousins and friends like that, you know what I'm saying? But his mom was his rock. His mom was the person that he knew that he would be able to rely on when he got out. But his mom was gone. Now his dad was gone as well. So now he's out in his mind, even though he has extended family, he's on his own. He has not dealt with the issues that he had, you know what I'm saying, that he went through while he was in prison. And on top of that, you know, he had a lot of issues, you know, with gangs, getting in fights with them. He was not affiliated, but he was getting in a lot of fights and stuff like that. And they made a lot of threats towards him. And a lot of the gang, the same gang that he was having problems with in prison, where they had those same gangs in the neighborhood that he lived in. So he was always on edge about, are they going to call out here and have them come do something to me, and so on and so forth, right? So he never felt safe. He never felt safe. So when you don't feel safe, what do you do in most situations, especially if you're in the streets? You get a gun. You get a gun. So Dean, he got himself a gun. He kept it hidden, but he had one available to him. It was available to him, right? He never kept it on this person, but it was available to him. All right. Now, he got this job, working 2 days a week. He's got this gun put up, you know what I'm saying, just in case something pops off, right? All of these things are elements of bad things to come. Bad things to come. So time goes on. After about 3 or 4 months, maybe 6 months or so, he loses his job because he gets into it with his supervisor. He smarts off at his supervisor, telling the supervisor that, you know what I'm saying, he works too hard to be talked to the way he's talking to. He's not in the penitentiary no more, and he's not going to let nobody talk to him like that. He's dealing with all of that PTSD, that trauma that he went through in the penitentiary. So when he talks bad to his supervisor tells him, I tell you what, then, don't worry about it. Don't come back. So now he's upset that he's lost his job. He's saying that I'm not going to accept you talking to me. I'm still a man. And if I got to sacrifice my manhood to keep this job, then you can have this job. So he leaves. And when he leaves, he does something that is very significant to how he turns out, how the situation develops, rather. And it interested me when I heard about it. And it's going to surprise you what this was. He broke his phone. Now, when he broke his phone, what was he saying? What was the significance of that? Because his phone was what? How he communicated with everybody, right? Now, I don't think this dawned on anybody but me when I heard about this, because I'm listening to the story, right? And I'm going to tell you how this story turns out in a minute, but just keep listening to me. You know what I'm saying? When I heard that he broke his phone, I'm like, why did they even make mention of that when they were telling you about what happened to Dean? They didn't know. You know what I'm saying? But I kept listening. I'm like, interesting. And like I said before, without that phone, how do you communicate with anybody? He didn't want to. He didn't want to. He wanted to cut himself off from everybody because the stage was being set. He was spiraling out of control, right? And when you're spiraling out of control, that means you're losing control. You don't have a grip on things. Things are moving too fast for you. You're not understanding. You're not able to comprehend. You're not able to process what's going on with you in a way that is making sense and meaningful to you. So he broke that phone, right? And let me say this too. And he didn't have a car. So he was walking everywhere. And that was okay in the neighborhood that he was from because everything was within walking distance. But without a car, he was not self-reliant. He couldn't get away from trouble when he needed to. He had to walk or run. So when he went back to he was staying at one of his auntie's house. When he went, after he left the halfway house, okay? Because it's 6 months in and now he had to leave the halfway house. But now he's staying at his auntie's house. When he goes to his auntie, she's trying to talk to him. She said, look, I love you, but what's going on? He couldn't explain how he was feeling. All he kept saying is, I'm a man. I'm a man. He didn't treat me like I was a man. He talked to me like I was a boy. This and that. And that's the language that you use in the penitentiary. Because you have to establish yourself in here as somebody that can't be ran over because your life may depend on it. And out there, the structure is a little different. Because what she found out was that, because she knew the guy that he worked for at this place. What she found out is that he told him that, look, I might need you to work a couple of hours overtime and I'm going to pay you, but I need somebody here and you're the last man up. Everybody else is put in work and he's telling them, now I got to go. He said, well, you need to stay. He said, I need you. He took that as offensive. The man was trying to give him money. So when she found this out and she was talking to him about it, he's telling her she don't understand. I got other things I want to do. But she said, you only working 2 days a week. So that means you got 5 days to do whatever it is that you need to do or want to do. But what it was, he couldn't be totally honest with her because he didn't understand what was going on. He had left that back door open. He had left that back door open to be able to do whatever he wanted to do. So now while he's talking to her, he can't really articulate what's going on and explain it because he can't be totally honest with her and all the things that was going on with him, right? So long story short, he ends up leaving. He's mad. He said, you don't get me either. You don't understand. I wish my mama was here. He didn't say daddy. He said mama. Now, Anybody that has boys know. Anybody that has a son knows. When they call for their mama, they're in a desperate state. When we say something about our mamas, we're in a desperate state. We're hurting. And he was hurting. He was hurting. And she saw it. She saw it. And she told him, don't leave. Just stay home. We'll work it out. And he couldn't do it. He couldn't do it. Because he didn't have that bond with her that he had with his mother. So he leaves. And he goes up on the block. Now, while he's up on the block, trouble finds him again. When you're in that spiraling mode, is all you're going to run into is trouble. All you're going to run into is trouble. So he gets up there, and he's in this spiraling mode. And some of those dudes that have had no problem with him since he's been home, he's up there running his mouth. Running his mouth about these gang members. And you already know, they ain't trying to hit. They not going to hear that. Ain't no gang finna let you come up on that block talking crazy to them and not smack you in your mouth. They gonna do it. So they whoop him. Whoop him. They didn't kill him. They could have killed him, but they know him. They whoop him and tell him, get on about your business, man. Don't come back up here with that nonsense, man. They up there getting money, drinking, smoking, doing what they do. He come up here talking crazy to them on their spot. So they put hands on him. Get on up out of here. And then, you remember when I told you that he had a gun put up somewhere? Well, that's what he went to get. These dudes don't know nothing about his problems. These dudes don't know nothing about he just got fired. These dudes don't know nothing about what's going on with him. He mad at the world. Somebody gonna get it. He gonna get his lick back on somebody because he feel like he's been done wrong. So he go get that gun. He come back up there in a blind rage, just crazy. Start shooting. Next thing we know, breaking news. See him on TV. They looking for him. He done hit 2 people. Gang members at that. Done hit him. Didn't kill him, luckily for him. But he got big problems now. You done shot 2 gang members and you didn't kill them. And they know who you are. And let me tell you this, it ain't nothing funny about it, right? But don't get it twisted, right? Look, they had dude on TV. You know what I'm saying? They got him laid on one of the gang members laid on the gurney, right? And he hollering dude name out. You know what I'm saying? He shot me. These tough gang members now. Don't get that twisted. You know what I mean? Don't get it twisted, y'all. But anyway, he hollered out. I thought it was no snitching, no cooperation, no nothing. But anyway, that's a side issue. That's another show. So now they know who they looking for. They got his picture all over TV. Everybody in the penitentiary looking like, man, what are you doing? He just got out. And they talking about he done shot some gamers. So now, they don't know everything that went on that day with him. So they looking at it like, oh man, it's retaliation for when we was in here whooping him. Oh, we got to get him when he come back. He dangerous. Then some of the other gangs looking at it like, oh, he put in work. Ain't got nothing to do with none of that. They're putting their own narrative to what went down, right? But they don't know nothing about what really went down. This man snapped. He spiraled out of control because he never dealt with the issues that he had when he got out the penitentiary for losing both his parents, especially his mama. Now, why am I telling you this? Why am I telling you this? Because a lot of people get out of penitentiary every day. A lot of people get out of penitentiary every day. And they end up coming back because they're not dealing with things. Now, wait a minute. Let me finish the story before I get to that. Let me finish the story. When he went to court and he got as a public defender, he ain't got no money. He tells his public defender everything that happened. Everything that happened to him that day and what made him snap. And you know what his PD told him, his public defender told him? Why didn't you come talk to somebody? He said, who? Who was I going to talk to? There was nobody for him to go to. Nobody. What, he going to go down to the police department? Who was he going to talk to? And that's a problem. That's why a lot of people end up coming back. They ain't got nobody to talk to. Nobody that can understand. Because a lot of people in the penitentiary, look here, they came out with some report, right, not too many years ago that said that The average male in a Tennessee prison reads and understands and comprehends on the first grade level. If they came into the penitentiary, I think it was after 2018, on the first grade level. And then for women, it's on the third grade level. They smart. Women always been smart enough, you know? But think about that. You got people in here that comprehend on the first grade level, and you telling them, go talk to who and what and how, explain it like what? Ain't nobody explain it to. You can't even explain it in a way that makes sense to people. But that's what his PD told him. Anyway, they end up sending him back to penitentiary. This is his fourth time now. Yeah, he's sitting right up in here. In the penitentiary. But he didn't know what to do. He didn't know how to process what was going on with him. And like I said, why am I telling you that? Because I'm pretty sure that some of you know somebody that just got out, or you have family members that got somebody that just got out. Man, you're going to have to be patient with them. You're going to have to be patient with them. That don't mean coddle them, but you're going to have to be patient. And you're going to have to lead them by the hand. They're going to buck you, but do it anyway. Do it anyway, because they need some guidance. They think they know everything. They don't know nothing. They ain't done nothing the whole time they've been in the penitentiary other than have these hopes and dreams that they ain't even put in work to accomplish. So be patient with them. You feel me? I just had to tell you that because when I heard this story, I was like, man, I got to say something about this. You feel me? This has been another episode of Doing Time with Joe. I'm your host, Joe Baker. And I say peace, y'all.